Anyway, so we were talking about that. We've been talking about astrology this week, and I was like, hey, we need to do the nodes. So I was like, yeah, let me get on YouTube and tell everybody about the nodes and what's coming, because they're about to change signs July 17th, and they will be changed till January of 2025, right? And so what the nodes do is the nodes, when they change signs, it gives us a precursor to what we're going to be focusing on and what we're going to be learning to release and get through and understand what we want to keep. Um, because the nodes are your destiny, right? So this is my way of saying it. The south node is your past destiny that you mastered, and the north node is the destiny that you're headed towards. Okay, and the nodes, when they change signs, they give us an indication of what did we just have? I can't think of the name. Oh my god, my mind went blank. Sorry. um, the eclipses. So when the nodes change signs, we know what eclipses are coming. So the eclipses are going to be coming in the next 18 months um, through the next signs. So because the nodes are going in, they're moving into Libra and Aries, we know the eclipses are going to be coming from Libra and Aries, right? It's a it's like a precursor to tell you where you're headed, right? And so you can kind of get started and see and kind of understand, but it gives you an indication of what's coming. And you guys know with eclipses, and depending on how close the moon, because these are lunar nodes, right? So depending on how close the moon comes to that north node and south node, that will help you understand, like, is it a partial eclipse? Is it a full eclipse? And what are we letting go? And what are we moving through? And what are we, like, heading towards? That all of that makes sense? Eclipse right out of my mind. Yeah. Oh yeah, thank you, Tammy. She says she's a great teacher. Thank you. I want you guys to I want you to see what I see and get intrigued and get fascinated where you're like, oh my God, it's right here. Like it's right in front of your face. Like I can tell you stuff Spirit's saying, your higher self saying, I can put you under, you can see it too. But there's an actual roadmap, right? Which is just another modality, but it's an actual roadmap. That's your chart, your natal chart. And then the transits of now, like what's going on now and how does that go on your natal chart, right? Astrology is just like you can think of it as adding on layers. Like you just learn the foundation and then you just add on layers the deeper you want to go, you know? And some people don't care about, what is what is Mars and Uranus and Venus and what is all that. I don't really care about that. I just want to know my sun sign and my moon sign and my ascending sign. Like they don't, it depends on how many layers you want to go, right? And so we're starting really, really slow because as a teacher, I think that you should have a solid foundation. And after you get that solid foundation, everything else is going to be a breeze. You're just going to put two and two together, use your intuition, as well as see it on the chart. So, yeah, I find it fascinating. I think it's really fascinating because I can see as a medium, I can hear, I can see, I can talk to. But then to actually see the data behind it on a chart is fascinating to me. Which is what got me started with astrology when I don't even remember, I really can't remember the time, but I'm going to say 5 through 7. So if y'all hear me say anything else, it's usually 5 through 7. That's kind of what I remember. Um, but around age 5 through 7, I just found it fascinating. Like, why is it that a certain sign acts a certain way, and why is it that a certain day and a certain time does that? And that just kind of, I started my journey then. But I've always been fascinated by, like, I've always been a deep thinker. I remember I was talking to the group on Discord, and we were talking about our child being a child, and I said, I remember as a child, again, probably that young, I was asking my parents where did language come from? Like where did it originate? And they were like trying to tell me, well, English is this and that. I was like, no, I want the origin. This was me at 5, 6, 7, 8. Like I wanted to know exactly how the origin of language itself came. Like, where did we get the symbols? Where did we get the language itself? Where did we get the tone? I've just always been that way since I was young. Really deep thinker. So, um, again, when I was young, astrology just caught my eye, and I just began to teach myself, learn. I mean, we're all pretty smart. We can do it. I mean, it's taken me years and years and years and years and years since I was 5, 8, somewhere through there. But I've just always been. It's never been like to me a struggle or a oh man I gotta learn this. It's more like enjoyable and fascinating, and it's almost like putting a puzzle together. So I see it that way, and I want other people to see it that way because I see like people are intrigued throughout my life before. Like even in my career, people would always come to me and say, "What's going on in the stars?" Because they knew I would know the answer, right? They'd say, "What's going on in the stars?" Um, and so I would always tell them. So I know they're fascinated by it. I know they're intrigued by it. I know they have questions about it. But it just gets so overwhelming, right? So this is a way for you to get like that base. So again, what's the north node and the south node? They're called lunar nodes because they have to do with the moon, right? But they're like points in the sky. So they're points, I say points, they're energy in the sky that we're going to move through, and it shows our destiny's path, right? So a south node means, and I won't go too deep into all of this, what they mean, because some of you probably already know, but the south node has to do, then the way that I've understood it is the south node has to do with you mastering that destiny, you coming through that destiny, getting what you needed to get, whether it was in another life, um, in other lives, and so that's sort of it's the because it's the thing you've mastered, it's probably means that you've lived a lot of lives in that energy, or you had a lot of time in that energy. So when you come here and you have your south node in your natal chart, it's the energy that feels most comfortable. And to me, what I've gathered over the years is it's the energy when you're tired, when you don't know what to do, when you are not feeling well. It's the energy you veer towards, right? That's your south node because it's always going to feel comfortable to you because you did it so many times, right? But in that, and then when we have our south node, there are things that we keep, right? Like for me, I'll give you an example. For me, I needed to keep the fact that I'm a medium, the fact that I'm psychic, the fact that I have all these gifts for this life. So I kept it, right? I brought it into this life. But there are things when that's done, when things are done, that you need to release. Um, like one of those things would be like the DNA stuff that I was talking about. I can't remember if I was talking about it on here or on Discord, but we have the DNA of 14 generations back, and that's been proven. So you have the DNA of 14 generations of your lineage back that you are trying to get through, release, break the chains, like we're saying, right? And so in this lifetime, that may be in that south node that you're kind of working on that you need to release. But then we have the opposite of the north node. The north node is always going to feel where the south node feels comfortable. It's your destiny's past. It's what you've mastered. It's what you decided to keep at the time, but now maybe you're going to be releasing some things, right? Then you have the north node, and the north node is the opposite. So the north node is that feeling of, I don't know what I want to do. I just know I got to go that way, right? Like something that really, like for me, astrology really fascinates me. I know that I'll never learn it all, right? Astrology is a great comparison. uh, I know that I won't learn it all because there's so much to learn in this lifetime about astrology, but I know that I want to go towards that. I know that I like astrology. I know I want to keep learning astrology. I want to get different perspectives of astrology. It's that thing for you that's always been in you that you don't know how to form it to end it, but you know that you want to go towards it. So it's your destiny, right? That's your north node. And on the chart, in your natal chart, it will show you what you're kind of veering towards, what you kind of like it's almost like an addiction, right? Like I gotta figure it out, I gotta figure it out, I gotta figure it out, and you won't all the way. You won't completely figure it out. It's not that you won't figure some things out, but you won't completely figure it out, right? Because you're not meant to. You're just meant to move in that direction, right? But we still have this pull to go in that direction. So here's the thing. For me and my understanding, it's a balance. It's not like I'm only going to work on my north node and move towards my destiny. It's a balance of working, having both energies of um, I'm working in the energy that I'm used to, but I'm going to take some risk and move into the energy that I'm not used to. Does all that make sense to you guys? So for this, that's talking about in your natal chart. Now, if you understand the north node and the south node and the balance of that, like in order for me, because remember, my understanding is we only have so much energy that runs through us, right? So we need to release some stuff to move towards that destiny, right? So for the last 18 months, and it's still there, for the last 18 months, the nodes have been in Taurus and Scorpio. And remember, we had the Taurus Scorpio eclipses in the last 18 months. Like you get rounds of them, right? Now we're going to be moving, and this is where the chart comes in. On July 17th, we're going to be moving. You can see right here, and this is very important for a couple of reasons. You can see right here that the North Node is going to be moving into Aries, and the South Node is going to be moving into Libra, right? And what are Libra and Aries about? Aries is all about me, me, me. And Libra is all about we, right? So, where the last 18 months we have been focused on our physical comfort, our stability, what we actually want in our physicalness, our surroundings, right? And then letting go of that emotional, because we had these nodes. Scorpio was in, it was in Scorpio, and we had the nodes in Scorpio. So the south node is you letting go, releasing the emotional traumas, the lineage chains that we've been talking about, changing the way that we, things that we have kept for so long and maybe before this lifetime, right? We had been working on that for the last 18 months, right? Now we're going to be moving where we were moving about this, where we were focused on this. We're now going to be moving into, excuse me, Aries, where it's about now that I have my physical surroundings, now that I know kind of where I want to go, what is it that I really, really want? And I need to be inspired to take the action to do it because that is Aries, right? So for the next 18 months, you're going to be working on what inspires you, who inspires you, how do you want to do this, of getting those material things, those, the way that you want your house around you, the way that you want the people around you, the way that you want the relationships around you, right? That, but it's not about how do I want them, it's a how what do I want? And what actually these things that I've been thinking about in Taurus for the last 18 months, what is the inspiration that's going to get me to take the action to do it, what it is that I want to do? That's what your North Node is going to be calling for all of us, right? For all of us. And then your South Node, because it's Scorpio, sorry, I was talking about Libra before because it's Libra. So air, North Node Aries, South Node Libra. Because it's talking about Libra, that's the partnership. How am I going to do it with others? What do I need to do on my own, and what do I need to do with others? What have I been addicted to that has kept me from taking the action, like Aries, to get to the things that I really, really want in my life? These are your destiny. This isn't just your thoughts and stuff. This is your actual path, right? These are your actual paths. So, the reason I say that this is really important is because you have the power of fortune here. So this is, I usually don't say this for a lot of people. I usually tell the Aries ascendings this. It is time, and when you do me, and when you let go of we, like I'm not saying you can't have a partner in business and you can't have a partner in love and you can't have a partnership with your family and your friends and all that. I'm not saying you can't have that. I'm saying, are you so comfortable in that that it's caused you not to be inspired to take action into the life that you want? That's what we're going to be learning about in the next 18 months. Does all that make sense to you guys? And when you do this, you have the power of fortune. It means if you do this and you are honest, and I have said this over and over because we've got all these other things going on, if you are authentic, not only to everyone in the world, but to yourself, if you have authenticity, here's another sign that the power of fortune, it means it goes your way. It means it goes your way. But in order to do that, you're going to have to let go of some things. You're going to have to let go of some partnerships. You're going to have to let go. I mean, you may not, I'm not saying everybody's going to break up and you're going to let go of whatever. I'm just saying that you may have to let go of the way that you thought the partnership should be because you're leaning, you're addicted, you haven't let go, you see the red flags, all of that. All of that you're going to be working on. Does all that make sense to you guys? That's why it's so important. And at some point, Jupiter's going to come. At some point, we've got the Chiron. We've got planets coming to these points, right? And so at some point they're going to be squaring and there's going to be aspects to them in some point in the next 18 months. But it's really important. Remember what I've told you guys, when it's at 0 degrees and 29 degrees and 30 degrees, those are really important. It's like a lot of energy coming through there. So where you might start finding where your focus has been, um, what it was that I wanted physically, how it is that I see my life physically, and what emotions that I had to learn to let go about myself, the deeper inner thoughts and the deeper inner, um, like the childhood trauma and the religion trauma and the trauma with, why do I do it this way? It's because my family's always done it this way. Why do I act this way? Why do my siblings, like all of that that you had to like first look at the red flags, and then kind of get through and understand that you may have that DNA, but you can actually change that. Now that you guys have been through that, now it's time to actually implement, right? And again, that is the big message I've been getting from Spirit. What, for the last month or so, Amy and David? Do you remember? It's like all I keep hearing is they keep saying, Spirit keeps saying, your higher selves keep saying, that loving energy keeps saying, it is time to implement the things that you know, which again is why I've started that Discord community. It is because you guys know this stuff. You need to practice this stuff. You need to actually do this stuff because you already know kind of what to do. I'm not saying you know exactly what to do, but I'm saying you get the gist of it, and it's time to actually do it. And that's where we're moving to. That's Aries, action, action Aries, right? So, and when you do, you have the power of fortune here. It's not going to let you down. It's going to go your way. Does all that make sense to you guys? Yeah, no longer what you think you can do. It's doing it. That's a great way to say it, Amy. It's no longer what you think you can do. It's actually doing it. Okay? So that gives you a little bit of indication of the nodes. And what I'm going to do right now is quickly, I'm not going to do, because I'm going to go through all 12 signs, and I haven't done this in a long time, and I haven't looked at this chart like this in a while. So I'm going to look and I'm going to tell you guys what could possibly you be working on, right? So we know for Aries, because it's Aries' first house, um, the North Node, you'll be working on the me, and that should come from you, your physicalness, um, your core of you, right? And so if it's the first house for her, then Libra will be the seventh house, right? And so what you may be letting go of in the seventh house is relationships, is partnerships, or the way that we think of partnerships, right? But if you're um, I'm trying to think, if you're a Taurus, it's going to be in your 12th house, right? So your 12th house and your 6th house. So your North Node is going to be your 12th house for if you're Taurus ascending. It'll be in your 12th house, which is the hidden, which is like I can't really see it yet. And for you, I'm gonna say for you, Taurus, if it's in your 12th house, it's because you need to listen to your intuition more. That's what I'm gonna say. And you are gonna get rewarded for that. You may not see it, but also I would think about you getting really, really clear and truthful with yourself about people or situations not being completely forthcoming with you. Does that make sense? Like I can see some like you kind of know that they have ill will towards you or they're not doing the thing that's, that has integrity, but you choose to ignore it. And I think for you Taurians, it's probably time for you to like get real with yourself. So, and then your sixth house, and it's going to come through your sixth house. Like that's your south node. So, like your everyday thing, your health and well-being, that may be affected. That really may be affected. And so, let's go to Gemini. Gemini, this is going to be in your third house. Um, and so, in your third house, that's about your communication, right? So, that's a like all of these signs. This is their original house. So Gemini, it's about your communication. Um, sorry, it's not about your communications, Gemini. I'm looking at the wrong way. Sorry. So for Gemini, it's going to be in your 11th house. So Gemini, your north node is going to be working on you for your groups and the internet and understanding your place in that and understanding how you want to be with that. And these are things you've already thought about, and these are things you have been working on, but this is actually implementing. Remember, this is implementing, right? And so the south node will be in your fifth house. So that has to do with your love affairs. Like, for some of you, I can see, are you going to put your friends, your group friends, yeah. Are you going to do what you've always done and then, like, some a lover or somebody else put them in the fifth house like a love affair instead of putting them like a group friendship? Like you're gonna really be forming that for yourself. I hope I said that right. Like you're trying to understand the difference between, is this part of my tribe, my group? Um, do I want them there every day, or is this just a love affair where it's like fleeting and nice and romantic and all of that, right? I hope that makes sense. Yeah. So, and then for Cancer, this is going to be in your 10th house. So, Cancer, your North Node is going to be in your 10th house, and your South Node is going to be in the 4th house, right? So, the 10th house is about your career. Are you going to actually implement the things that you know to be true now because you've been working on this? And why is it that you do it the way that you do it? Having you could be letting go of some roots, some understanding of where you come from. Why do you act the way that you do? Letting like really forgiving yourself is what I see here. Forgiving yourself for like maybe thinking you didn't make the right choice or you weren't strong enough or you didn't speak up when you needed to or you didn't have a boundary where you needed to, like really understanding this house and forgiving yourself. I'm hearing forgiving yourself, but I'm also seeing that your north node is like really wanting you to focus on what you're doing out in the world and your career. Okay, does that make sense? And then Leo, this is going to be in your ninth house and your third house. So the north node will be in your ninth house. So Leos are going to, yeah, Leos are, let me say this to some Leos. Y'all are going to have a come to Jesus moment. That's what I can say about that. So that's not all Leos, but some Leos, you're going to have a come to Jesus moment. Like you're really going to understand, do I believe in this because I believe in this, or do I believe in this because I was taught to believe in this, right? You could also be moving into like traveling more or overseas traveling. That could be coming up for the next 18 months. Like Maybe you realize that's what you want to do more. You're going to be forming this. You've already thought about this stuff. This was your Taurus stuff, right? You've already thought about this stuff. This is actually implementing that, right? And into your third house, which is communication. Like maybe the way that you communicated, or maybe the way that you thought you should communicate, you're going to be working on understanding that not everybody views things the way that you do, and maybe you're not always right, but maybe when you're right, you should say it instead of, because Leos are very good at saying what they need and what they want, but when they love somebody, or it's a family member, or it's somebody close to them, they will often let it slide. And maybe that's what you're going to be understanding over the next, like, this is something, again, you've let go of these things, you've realized these things in Scorpio, you went inside and you looked, right? But now it's about implementing the way that you communicate, implementing the way that you show up, implementing that, right? So that's Leo. And then Virgo would be eighth house, north node, second house, south node. So eighth house, north node. Virgo, you're going to be like some of you I can see getting, if you've met somebody in the last 18 months, you could be moving towards the partnership, the marriage, or maybe you're already married, or maybe you're living like you're married, or maybe the understanding is that you're married, but this is actually working that out over the next 18 months. Like, how is this marriage going to be? How is this partnership going to be? We're implementing it. You've already had the partnership, you're going to be implementing it. It could be also if you've come into some inheritances, or you've come into some good judgments, like, I don't know, you got a somebody you sued someone, and you got a big chunk of money, whatever. Like, just some sort of settlement, I guess. And I could see you working that out over the next 18 months, really understanding your money, other people's money, how you're going to do that, what you're going to do with that, and a partner. And it could be a business partner, and it could be a love partner. How is that going to work out? I'm going to implement these things, right? And that has to do with your second house. What is my value? Am I enough to say, do I matter, and am I going to let people take advantage of me with this, or am I going to really stand up and see what I want, what do I deserve, what do I want, what am I going to implement, right? That's for Virgo. And then Libra, it's going to be, yeah, your first house. So first house, seventh house, again, the north node is going to be in your seventh house, though. Okay. And the the south node will be in your first house. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. The north node would be in your first house, and the south node would be in your seventh house. Sorry about that. So for Libra, the south node is like letting go, and these are things that have already come up. You're going to implement letting go of particular partnerships, or the way that you see partnerships, or the understanding of that, and how you've been hurt, or you hurt someone, right? And then with the south node, understanding who you are, understanding what you want to implement in your life to deserve. Does that make sense? And then we're going to go to Scorpio, which will be in your. Let me see. So Scorpio will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it'll be your eighth house. I think I'm doing that right. Yeah, sixth house. North node will be in your sixth house, Scorpio, and the south node will be in your 12th house. Okay, it gets confusing when you're trying to do it like this. Uh, North node is in your sixth house, Scorpio, and um, south node is in your 12th house. Does all that make sense? Yeah. So again, what I said before with the sixth house, it's your everyday stuff. The north node, you're going to be thinking about, how am I going to rearrange my schedule? What is it? This is stuff you've already worked on. You're going to be implementing this over the next 18 months. So you're going to be focused on your everyday life. You're going to be focused on your health and well-being, because a lot of you Scorpios need to like pay attention to your health. A lot of you Scorpios need to pay attention to your health. You know it, but you're ignoring it. So guess what? These nodes are going to come in and tell you. And remember, we have those eclipses. When they eclipse, they eclipse. Stuff happens, right? And then that south node will be in the 12th house, where you may not understand what you need to let go, but you will be working through that and actually letting go and realizing that you didn't need to have that addiction to that person or that way of thinking or that situation. So, yeah. That has to do, that's what Scorpio is going to be going through. And then Sagittarian, you'll be working on the 7th, sorry, the 5th and the 11th. So North Node in the 5th, Sag, which is your love affairs. Like, this tells me that you could be meeting somebody in the next 18 months, like serious somebody, right? That's your destiny. It's your North Node. It also has to do with you finally, like, getting back to that carefree, um, I see the beauty in life again. I'm not so, you weren't jaded, but you were kind of like sad that the world wasn't what it was before, and so I can see you like really you've come through that understanding now because you've already done this. You just haven't implemented it yet. So I can see you having more fun over the next 18 months. I can see you being lighter. I can see you being inspired to do the things that were in your head that you thought about when everybody was the way the world's been, right? And also in the 11th house, your south node. So the 11th house has to do with letting go of some groups, letting go of yeah, the groups, the understanding of how you want to be, who you want to be around, where it concerns groups and also like because for you guys, I see so like luck is in there and you understanding that luck is in the house of the 11th house, right? So luck is in there. But I'm seeing that you're understanding that you are so lucky and the way luck works and how you happen to be in the right place at the right time. And that's going to be coming about for you in the next 18 months, okay? But that has to do with like how you're seeing the beauty of life or the beauty of a, not a partner, but maybe some of you start dating again. Like that's what I'm seeing in your fifth house. And then we have Capricorn. So Capricorn is going to be North Node, your fourth house, and South Node, your 10th house. So, Cappies, you have really, really worked hard on this. What am I going to do out in the world? How am I going to make the money? What stability do I have? All of that, right? This is not about you taking action because you don't have a problem taking action. But you'll get more force in taking the action with your North Node. It's like you're going to get more focused and you'll understand it better. Like you're not stuck, right? Because you have been feeling like that, but you won't feel like that. It's going to get lighter for you and you're going to be inspired to do these things, right? The things you already know to do and you already have been doing them, but they're going to get easier. But what I'm seeing in the South Node for you is you actually letting go of those things that no longer serves you. Like this is so true for Capricorn right now. You're going to be letting go. Some of you have probably already started letting go because y'all are fierce. You'll take the action you need. But then what I'm seeing is you understanding it, coming to terms with it, doing, being okay with yourself and not putting yourself down for making that decision. Does that make sense? And then Aquarius, this is going to be in your third house. So North Node in your third house, right? And South Node in your ninth house. So letting go of the South Node, I'm seeing you as Aquarians. You kind of already understand this, but again, this is about implementing, letting go of those belief systems that you had about yourself, that you had about the way this world works, that you had about society itself, that you had about a lot of things. you've sort of in these past couple years formed what it was that you believe and how you believe and what you see, and you see things better, but you're actually going to let go and realize y'all have already started doing this, but actually implementing letting go of like, yeah, I don't need to be frightened. I don't need to be afraid of everything. I don't need to be anxious about everything. I don't need somebody's approval to do such and such. I don't like stuff like that. You're actually releasing, letting go. And that's moving you into that third house of really communicating who you want to be, who you are, saying what you need to say. And Aquarians can say a lot of things, but when it comes to them personally, they may not say what they really need to say because oftentimes they're like, I'm gonna hurt your feelings. I don't want to ruffle feathers, right? But it's important for you Aquarians to like take your stance. Understand what you have to say is very important. What you have to say can help people, but really that's not why. What you have to say is what's needed to say. Does that make sense to you guys? Um, and then for Pisces, this is going to be North Node in the eighth house and South Node in the second house, right? So letting go of some values. Sorry, my thing went out. So letting go of your understanding of maybe the way that you valued yourself, like really understanding that you are valuable and just how much you're valuable and just what you can do in this world and just what you can do in your life and what like that people really want to hear you and you have something important to say or uh just your energy being there is important or like that's Pisces really like you've come a long way in understanding your value, but you're actually going to be implementing. So like things are going to come to you where you actually understand that. And the eighth house is the like again, um l- like moving towards this in the eighth house is where like you can get again the transformation, but not just that, but you can get judgments, you can get I don't know, the lotteries in here, like inheritances. And so you guys may be having, I'm not saying everybody, it depends on your chart, but like it's very possible if you're kind of seeing indications already that you're going to be, that you're moving towards an inheritance or that you're moving towards some sort of funds like that, like it's other people's money and it is where you get the luck for other people's money in that, the judgment comes to you. So it could be implemented here because that's your north node. That's your destiny. So if it's your destiny, you're going to get it. Does all that make sense? So I hope that made sense. It was really hard doing it where where I hadn't looked at this chart. So it was really hard doing it, making sure that the north node and south node were the exact opposite. So I hope that you guys understand that. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah, the thing went out. It was my microphone that went out. My headphones went out. Ah, on the money. Yeah. So those of you that know that you're having judgments, those of you that know that you're getting inheritances, like if people are talking about it around you and you kind of know, it's gonna come through in the next 18 months, right? And you would have to look at your own chart to see if there's any planets there, or whatever, and what's like again, come look at the class, come do the class with us, and you can kind of, because we're going over our charts all the time, so you can kind of see, oh, this is coming, this can be coming. Like, I do that a lot. Like, you can ask Amy, and that's what we did yesterday. We practiced charts, we looked at charts, and then we're able to say, oh, well, this transit is coming, so this must be coming for you, or this looks like this for you, right? So you would have to look at that. Um, to see exactly when it's coming over the 18 months. But it looks like because it's your north node, it's your destiny. It's going to be. You just have to let go of the old way that you have been thinking about. Do I deserve this? Do I matter? What is my value? Now, this isn't something that you don't know. This is something you've already been working on. You've been working on this for 18 months, right? So, this is almost like the rewards. The rewards. Uh, I think I'm gonna stop it there. I didn't want to stay on too long. I just wanted to kind of let you guys do that. Please, if you guys can remember to like, subscribe, share out. This helps me get to a bigger group so that we can find our soul group because I know they're looking for us. I get it all the time. People are saying, "Oh, I didn't realize you were back on YouTube." I'm not getting any alerts. So if you can, if you guys can do that, that helps me out. I will talk to you guys later. Have a great night. Bye.